Hey guys, alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a proper and a professional RJ45 termination of a Cat5 or a Cat6 cable. Alright, to do that you're going to need your RJ45 crimpers and perhaps a snip tool, and then obviously you'll need your RJ45 connector and the cable, whether it's Cat5 or Cat6. We're going to make type B termination. That's the only type that we will use for commercial use. Type A is mainly for residential. Basically, first step you want to do is take your compression tool, the crimper tool, and you want to use the side with double-sided blade, not the side with the blade and the plastic material, but the side with double-sided blade. You want to put the cable in this slot, and then you want to twist and turn to make a cut on that jacket. Once you've made that cut on the jacket, then at that time the jacket should fairly just come off by pulling on it. And then you've got your cables exposed, and this is where you want to separate all the things and then cut off anything that's access to you. So here we're gonna take these three pieces of material, bundle them together, and then we're gonna cut them off at the very bottom edge. Alright, and you want to make sure you're at the same time you want to make sure you're not cutting off your cables, so that's very important. Dispose of the trash. Then you've got 4 pairs here. Each one has a brown and a we gotta take this copper out too. We don't need this copper cable. So you've got a orange white pair. You've got the green, the blue, the brown. So first thing you want to do is untwist them all. So you've got them untwisted, and then you want to straighten them, and then untwist the next one. Just like that. And you want to straighten that, and then untwist the following one again. Alright, so right here you've got a particular color code that you've got to go by, and you want to set your cables sort of in that area. So right now I've untwisted all of the cables, and they are now straight. And if you can notice, that we've got an orange and a white, then we've got a solid orange, then we've got a solid green and a white, and then we've got a solid blue and a white, and we've got a brown and a white. With all of this, you want to make sure that you follow the type B pattern of cables. And the type B is orange white first. So orange white is your first cable, then the orange, then your green white. So you want to twist your green white around and bring it right next to them, and then your blue, solid blue. So your solid blue, then your blue and white after that, and then you've got your green. Okay, and then finally you've got your brown and white and your brown. Alright, so this is your entire pattern of the cables, and you wanna nicely, neatly put them together, because you're gonna cut them off to whatever length you need, so we can fit this connector on there. You don't need them to be this long. You can use them smaller than this. I just did them this long for the purpose of this video so I can show you guys how this works. Alright, so now that we have the entire pattern together, you want to make sure you put them together and you kind of straighten them out like this so that the cables are straight, and you want to make sure that they're not overlapping each other so that when you go to put the connector in there, they fit in nicely and neatly. You want to take your thumb and put it halfway on this, and then you want to cut it off right here. You can use this, but this is not the correct way to do it. So some people, what they do is they use the snip cuts, and they cut off with the snip cuts. You don't want to do that because sometimes you cut off diagonally or this way or that way. It's not 100% straight every single time. And then when you go to fit into this, your wires don't click in all the way. So using this is the incorrect method. I strongly suggest against it. What you want to do is use the tool that is made for it, and you want to use the side that's got one blade and then the plastic material so it can cut off completely. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the wires in them, and exactly where I'm holding, it's about that much length that I want for my cable. Right, that's what I decided with my thumb. Halfway, the pointy part of your thumb goes over the edge of the cable, and then remainder. So that's where you want to use to cut the cables off. And there we go. We just cut them off, and now we've got a straight cut on all of these cables. And now you want to take your connector. You want to keep holding them at this time. You don't want to let them go. So you take your connector and then slide it over and push the cables in. So now if you had these cables longer, what most people will do is they'll crimp it right here. That is an incorrect and unprofessional way of crimping it. You don't want the white jacket shown. You don't want you do want the white jacket exposed, but you don't want the wires exposed. You want to push them in completely. You want to go as far as you can, and the white jacket's top part should touch the middle of this. If you notice, there's a slight little indent right there on the cable, and right where the cable stopped, that's where the white jacket needs to go in order for it to be a proper crimp. And so we're gonna go ahead and make sure it's all pushed in. You wanna push it in a little hard here to make sure that the connector is on completely and securely. And then you put the RJ45 connector into the RJ45 slot of your crimper, and you want to hold the cable nicely and tightly before you crimp it. And once you do that, go ahead and crimp the cable all the way down, and now you've got a very nice solid connector that you've just made. And this is a professional looking connector because you don't have exposed wire over here. If you've noticed, people will have the similar connector made, but they'll have all of the orange, the small cables exposed about this much, and they just look ugly. And at that time, they even feel like they'll come off at any time. So anyhow, this is how you make the connector. And then if you look at the very top edge of this, you should be able to see all of the wires touching the very top. Now, if you slide the wire, slide the connector over on this way, you want to make sure that your orange white starts from this side, from left to right, and you want to slide it upside down. You don't want to slide it with the right side up. You want to slide it while facing down, so that way you can have your connector colors correctly. All right, if there's any questions, let me know. That's how you make the connector.